voice of a rebel woman in the poetry of Kamla Das, Breaking Stereotype. And the objective of my paper is to study the voice of a rebel woman in the poems and introduction, The Looking Glass, and The Old Playhouse. Kamla Das was an outstanding woman poet among the post-independence women writers, and her poems actually echoes the silent protest of millions of middle-class Indian women who suffer on the daily basis but can't express. She composed several poems and published approximately 210 poems, excluding those reprints. And her major works include an introduction, The Descendants, The Looking Glass, and another one is The Old Playhouse. The three of it, The Old Playhouse, an introduction, and The Looking Glass will be my actually the focus. Kamla Das wrote in and about a society where the patriarchy is the dominant force, and in a patriarchal society, a man and everything associated with man is very much valued, but on the other hand, woman is seen as an inferior and a commodity or a burden or as a second-class citizen, you can say. And her poetry has a voice of a rebel woman who actually breaks this stereotype that a woman has to suffer in silence and can't express anything. And she breaks this stereotype in such a way that even the foundation rocks of patriarchy can be moved with it. So, in the poem and in The Old Playhouse, she compared her mind with an old playhouse. She married to a man, the speaker married to a man, expecting that she will get a chance to know herself better, to discover herself better, to grow herself better. But instead of that, she found that her man is highly selfish and highly self-centered. And all the lessons he taught was about himself only, because he never listened to what his living partner is saying, but he actually ignored her. And this poem, The Old Playhouse, is actually an open protest against the egotistical husband. And protesting against a husband is itself a breaking the stereotype at that point of time, because at that point of time the women were expected to sit silently. They were expected to keep silence with everything that has happened to him. And explaining what patriarchy does to a woman after marriage, Mamta Kalia explained it in a short note that I no longer feel I'm Mamta Kalia. I'm Kamla or Vimla or Kanta or Shanta. I cook, I wash, I bear, I rear. I sag, I wag. No, I nag, I wag. I sulk, I sag. So this explains that what a woman is expected to do and how a woman is bounded by these expectations. But she actually protested against this and exposed what the patriarchy has in its bag to offer to the equally important and coexisting gender, that is woman. And in her next poem, that is The Looking Glass, she overtly talked about the body of a female, which is actually itself a breaking stereotype, which is itself a challenge to the breaking of a stereotype. And she presented in such a way that a person who supports patriarchy can't even read the half of that poem. That I can claim that, because at the very beginning of the poem, the speaker says that the speaker openly suggests a woman how to enjoy a sex. While having a sex, how to enjoy it. She says that you stand before a mirror with your partner nudely and just let the man feel that he is stronger, because the view that you are softer, you are lovelier, you are younger, that makes him feel that you are stronger. And if he feels that he is stronger, then you should feel that you are superior than him, because you are softer, you are lovelier, and you are younger. So here again she says that while on bathroom, a woman should look at the perfection of his limbs, his eyes reddening under the shower, the shy walk across the bathroom floor, dropping towels, and the jerky way he urinates. Because the patriarchal society thinks these points as a factor that which constitutes a man and nothing else. So these factors speaker has exposed here and said that these factors makes a man and these factors makes your man your only man. And again in the poem and introduction, the theme is freedom and right of equality, right to equality. And at the very beginning of the poem, she breaks a stereotype that society says that you should not write in English. English is not your mother tongue. But what she says, why not leave me alone, critics, friends, visiting cousins, every one of you? Why not let me speak in any language I like? The language I speak becomes mine. Here she says that, like, I will speak whichever language I want. Nobody is there to impose on me. But society is imposing. And here again, the patriarchal society is also exposed. She was married at a young age because they considered her ready for marriage, because her body was swelling. She was having a more tempting body. So she was ready to be married. And she was married, and then she suffered a lot, because of which in the poem introduction only she wrote that she ignored her womanliness because she was scared of it. And then throughout the poem there is a dominance of they and he. They can be anyone, he can be his father, or her husband. So there is a dominance of they and he throughout the poem. But at the last line of the poem there is a quotation, I too call myself I. This thing says that, here again the rebellious voice of the Kamala Das pops out and says that, I am also an individual and you should treat me like an individual. And to quote at last from Mina Alexander, there was something in the passionate lilt of that voice, that utter freshness, its fierce, unashamed quality that made me stop still in my tracks. It was a full-throated woman's voice, sexual, claiming the rights of desire, but more than that, even claiming freedom. Kamala Das was really an outstanding writer, and as in the inaugural session, the vice principal, respected vice principal ma'am, said in life, talked about the vice principal of B. Borwa College talked about the need of an inspiration in life. Kamala Das was, is, and will always be an inspiration when it comes to breaking any stereotypes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You know whatever you have in this topic, not just like inside it.
Yes.
Okay, so before I request the other participants to question, so I'd like to ask you one thing that you have mentioned,
Yes.
that if man appreciates a woman, then she should feel stronger. You believe that?
No, man doesn't appreciate the woman.
Okay.
When a man sees a woman, the hierarchical thinking is that the woman is weak, and if she is naked, then he sees that the limbs of her body is weak, is soft, is small, and the man, he is having a broader hand and having a bigger chest, then he feels that he is strong. So this is the point.
Okay.
So according to you, no man feels a woman can be appealed to.
No, that is not the thing. Woman is in its place, in her place. Man is in his place, and both are important. As I have said, equally important genders. Because without man, woman can't live, and without woman, the human being is not.
Actually, my question is that maybe I was going to put it in a proper way. My question is that, like, if a man appreciates a woman, right? You cannot say like that man never appreciate.
No, they appreciate
If,
when they.
if man appreciates a woman, so do you think that it's a kind of appreciation? She should be proud of that, or she must be like we can say, yeah,
Sir,
suspicious, or like she might feel that I am weaker and he's praising me, or
So, there are perspectives. If I take that appreciation, then it can also be counted as a patriarchal system. The chastity, the rule, and that you are a goddess, you sit in the room, you can't go out because you are a goddess, your value will decrease. This kind of appreciations, that you are like the goddess in the heaven, you should sit in the room, you should not go out. These are kind of a bondage, these are a kind of a fetters, fetters with lovely words that you can't break so easily. And these are stronger fetters than the actual chains of iron.
okay.
So this can be seen in different perspectives. So the actual answer I can't give you, but in my perspective, man and woman are equals.
Anyone has any questions for this?
It's not a question actually. It's just a suggestion.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you go on to read Kamala Das's autobiography, which she had originally written in Malayalam,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
which went on to it was translated into English by her. You will come to know that you are right when she says that she uses her body to protest against so many stereotypes and conventions and the norms. She also actually has a lot of homoerotic experiences with many women in her life. So I would suggest maybe look at that aspect as also, like maybe for future research in this topic itself. And when you talk about how she says that, let give me critics, I want to write in my own language, then maybe you could also look at how Inigere then talks about how women uses her own body and how using your own body to protest against norms becomes a language in itself.
Yes.
Alright, so then place maybe Kamala Das, in that perspective, where it is not only she is obviously against patriarchal norms, but she is actually so free of any kind of norms that she has a lot of homoerotic experiences as well. And even in those homoerotic relationships that she has, there are a lot of hierarchical rules. Like most homoerotic relationships also did not work out because she wanted to be the dominant one. And she also talks about her writings in this manner. She says that if it is not my writings, if it is not my children through whom I want to live forever, which is why I am writing, so that my writings live. So she maybe read a little bit more about her personal life.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
I have a question. You said that when a man and a woman, suppose they both stand in front of mirror naked, so the male, he might feel like he's stronger, like physically.
He will.
Okay, he will feel. So he has bigger arms or whatever, but that might not be like he feels superior. I mean, feeling stronger physically and superior is both different things. So I'm confused.
No, this is patriarchy. Feeling superior is
No, I'm not
means
talking
stronger.
about- I mean, feeling physically stronger, and I mean, that doesn't mean doesn't appreciate the woman. I mean, he may appreciate, and he might not feel superior, just feel stronger. So, I think physically stronger and
Strength and superiority is
Strength and
different thing.
superiority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
yeah, you cannot tell that woman, a male always feels superior. I mean, he might feel he's physically strong, but he might not feel
No,
superior.
Yes.
I am talking about this particular poem.
Yeah.
I am not explaining every poem. So here this poem is confessional, and she has
I'm also
the
talking,
experience.
in point
She
of-
has noted down the personal experience through her pen. She has penned down with her experience, realistic experience. So this is a confessional poem, and I am explaining this poem only, not women as particular, not any poem as a collective. Nothing.
Okay, see.
Whatever